Hi, good morning. I am Shuganti from Vidhyalakshmi Higher Secondary School. Today we discuss about 12th standard computer science reduced syllabus for 2021 and then 22. In a first lesson, function. So, in this lesson we have 1.1, that is for the introduction. Okay. Next one 1.2, function with a respect programming language. Next one 1.2.1, function specification, and 1.2.2, parameters and arguments. These are all the portions only contained in a lesson 1. So, next one second lesson, data abstraction. In the second lesson, data abstraction. So, in this portion we have 2.1, data abstraction introduction, and 2.2, abstract data type, and 2.3, constructor and selectors. So, this is the portion only we have in a second lesson. Okay. In a second lesson we have 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3. 2.1 data abstraction. So, this is a 2.1 is the introduction, 2.2 is the data abstraction types, and then 2.3 constructor and then selectors. So, next lesson 3. Okay. In this lesson we have 3.1 introduction, 3.2 variable scopes, and 3.3 LEGB rules, and 3.4 different types of variable scopes. Okay. So, in this different types of variable scopes is a very important. At the same time LEGB rule is a very important. In lesson 3 we have 3.1 introduction, 3.2 variable scope, 3.3 LEGB rule, 3.4 types of variable scope. These types of variable scope is a very important. Next lesson 4. So, in a fourth lesson, can I open a book and then you mark these are all the portions. It is a very important. So, we read this portions only is the in your syllabus. Okay. In a fourth lesson, algorithmic strategic. So, in this lesson we have 4.1, introduction to algorithmic strategic. Again 4.4, algorithmic for searching techniques. So, different techniques are there. Algorithmic techniques, binary search, so linear search. So, these are the different types of searchings are there. Again 4.5, sorting algorithm. In a fourth lesson 4.1, 4.4 and 4.5 is the portion. Okay. So, next lesson in your fifth lesson. In your fifth lesson we have introduction to Python programming. Okay. Python variables and then programmings. Okay. Python variables and then operators. So, different types of operators we have. Okay. In a lesson 5, Python variables and operators. Okay. In this lesson we have introduction, 5.1 introduction is the important. Again 5.2 key features of the Python programming, and 5.3 programming in Python, 5.4 input and then output function. This input and then output function important 5 mark question. Okay. Next one 5.5 commands in Python programming. 5.5 commands in Python programming. 5.6 indentation. Okay. In 5.6 indentation, 5.7 tokens. So, these are all the points only we have very important. This is the portion for lesson 5. In your fifth lesson, 5.1 introduction, 5.2 key features of Python programming, 5.3 programming in a Python, 5.4 input and then output function, it is a important 5 mark question, 5.5 commands in a Python programming, 5.6 indentation, 5.7 tokens. In this lesson, input output function is a important 5 mark question, tokens also important 5 mark question. Okay. 2 important 5 mark questions are there. So, one is the input output function, another one is the tokens. So, these are the 2 important portions. In your sixth lesson, control structures. In your sixth lesson, control structures. In this lesson we have 6.1 introduction. Okay. 6.1 introduction, 6.2 control structure. 6.1 introduction and 6.2 control structure. Next lesson, 7th lesson, Python functions. In our 7th lesson, Python functions. 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.6, 7.8 and 7.8 is the important portion. So, this portion only the in our syllabus, this portion only in our syllabus. Okay. 7.1 introduction to types of functions, 7.2 defining a function, 7.3 calling a functions, 7.4 passing parameters, 7.6 autonomous function, 7.7 return statement, 7.8 scope of variables. So, 7.8 is the important 5-mark question. Scope of variable is repeatedly asking 5-mark questions. Okay. So, next lesson is a string and then string manipulation. It is a very interesting and then important lesson also. So, in our 8th lesson, 8.1 introduction to strings, 8.2 creating a strings, 8.3 accessing characters in a string, 8.4 modifying and deleting the strings, modifying and then deleting the strings. Again 8.5 string operators, 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4 and 8.5. Okay. In this lesson 8.5 is the important 5-mark question. String operators, different types of operators we have. Okay. So, this lesson 8.5 is a very important. Next lesson is a 9th one. In our 9th lesson, introduction to list, 9.1 introduction to list, 9.2 tupules, 9.3 sets. Okay. So, this lesson sets also important 5-mark question. 9.1, 9.2 and 9.3 is the important. Next lesson, 10th lesson. Okay. In our 10th lesson, we have Python classes and then objects. It is an important and interesting lesson. Okay. In our 10th lesson, 10.1 introduction to classes and object, 10.2 defining a classes, 10.3 creating a objects, 10.4 accessing class members, 10.5 class methods, 10.6 constructor and then destructor in Python, 10.7 public and then private data members. In our 10th lesson we have 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, 10.5, 10.6 and then 10.7. Open a book and then mark these are all the important portions. Okay. So, this portion is the very important. So, it is a reduced syllabus for 12th standard computer science 2021 and then 22 portions. Okay. 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4. So, these are all the very important. Another lesson 11th one. In this lesson database concepts. In our 11th lesson database concepts. In 11th lesson we have 11.1 data, 11.2 information, 11.3 database, 11.4 database management system, 11.5 database structures. Database concept 11.1 data, 11.2 information, 11.3 database, 11.4 database management system DBMS, 11.5 database structures. Okay. Next one 12th one. So, in our 12th lesson SQL. SQL stands for structured query language. SQL stands for structured query language. In our 12th lesson 12.1, 12.4, 12.5 and 12.7. 12.1, 12.2, sorry 12.1, 12.4, 12.5 and then 12.7. 12.1 introduction to SQL, 12.4 creating a database, 12.5 components of SQL structured query language, 12.7 commands and their function, SQL commands and their functions. 12th lesson, structure query language. In our lesson 12.1, introduction to SQL, 12.4, creating a database, 12.5, components of SQL, 12.7, SQL command and their functions. SQL command and their functions. So, next 13th lesson, okay, Python and then CSV files. Python and then CSV files. In this lesson, 13.1, 13.2, 13.3, 13.4, 13.6 and 13.7. Okay. In our 13th lesson, 13.1, introduction, 13.2, difference between CSV and Excel file format, important, 3 mark, some situation it is a 5 mark also. Okay. 3.1, introduction, Python and then CSV file introduction. 3.2, difference between CSV file and then Excel file formats, some situation it is a 3 marks, sometimes it is a very important question, 3 mark and also it is a 5 mark question. 13.3, purpose of CSV file. 13.4, creating a CSV file using a notepad or any other text editor. Okay. 13.6, read and write a CSV file using Python programming. 13.6, read and write a CSV file using Python programming. And next one, 13.7, writing data into a different types of the CSV files. Data is writing a data into the different types of CSV files. So, 13th lesson is a very important. 13.1, 13.2, 13.3, 13.4, 13.6 and then 13.7. Okay. Next lesson is the 14th lesson. 14th lesson, 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.5 and 14.6. In our 14th lesson, 14.1, introduction, 14.2, scripting language, 14.3, applications of scripting languages, 14.4, importing C++ files in a Python programming. Okay. 14.6, Python program to import C++ files. Okay. It is the content for 14th lesson. 14.1, 2, 4 and then 5. It is important for 14th lesson. Next one, in our 15th lesson, data manipulation through SQL. 15th lesson, data manipulation through SQL. Okay. So, 15.1, introduction, 15.2, SQLite, 15.3, creating a database using SQLite, 15.4, SQL using Python, 15.6, querying a date column, 15.6, querying a date column, 15.7, aggregate function. It is a important aggregated functions we have. So, that is a important question. 15.8, updating a record. 15.9, deletion operation. Okay. Deleting operations. Okay. 15, data manipulations through SQL. 15.1, introduction. 15.2, SQLite. 15.3, creating a database using SQLite. 15.4, SQL using a Python programming. Again 15.6, querying a date column. 15.7, aggregate function. 15.8, updating a record. 15.9, deletion operations. And 16th lesson, data visualization using PYPLOT. Okay. Data visualization using PYPLOT, pie chart and then bar chart. Okay. In this lesson we have 16.1, data visualization definition, and 16.2, getting started. Again 16.3, special plot types. 16.1, data visualization, 16.2, getting started, 16.3, special plot types. Okay. This is the lesson 1 to lesson 16 we have reduced syllabus. These are all the portion is enough for our public examination. Go through these are all the portions, again revise thoroughly and write your examination perfectly. Okay. All the best, Kana. Next one is the practical sessions. Okay. We have different types of practical questions we have. It's a very important. So, only we have limited portion. In a practical also we have limited portions. Okay. First one, Python programming 1. Okay. Calculate factorials. Python programming 1, calculate factorials, that is programming 1A, calculate factorial. Python programming 1B, sum of the series. These are all the exercise number 1, programming number 1. Okay. Calculate factorial and calculate the sum of series 1A and then 1B. Second one, reverse the string. Programming 2, reverse the string and then odd or even number. Write a program to check the given number is odd or even. Okay. Python programming 1A, Python programming 1B, Python programming 2A, Python programming 2B. Okay. First programming odd or even, next one is the write a program to check, write a program to print, reverse the given string. Okay. Another one, Python programming 3. Okay. Generate values and remove odd numbers. Generate values and remove odd numbers. So, it is a Python programming 3. Next one, Python programming 4. Fourth one, generate prime numbers and set operators. Fourth one, prime numbers and set operators. Final one, fifth one. Final one, fifth one. In our fifth programming, display a string element using classes. Display a string element using classes. Okay. Only 5 different programming. Python programming 1A, 1B, 2, 2A, 2B. Okay. Again 3, third one, next fourth one, final 5 one. We have only 5 different programming only we have. So, good morning students. So, in this video we covered reduced syllabus for 2021 and then 22 12th standard computer science theory portion and also the practical portion also. Okay. Go through this video and then you mark it in your book, then you start to study. All the best.